Yo, what's good YouTube, man? It's Gabriel Jones, Fan TV, man. Back at you on this video. Like the content of this video, go smash that like button, like the content of this channel. Go subscribe, man. Look, the Ravens dropped a very, very disappointing game to the Cleveland Browns, 29-24 in Cleveland, to fall to 5-3 on the season. And, we're going to talk about it, good, bad, and ugly. Wasn't really much good to talk about, right? So, usually I talk about standout performers, guys that impressed me, things like that. I'm not really going to do that, but I will say, Lamar Jackson's probably going to get, blame from national media because that's just how it goes. QB gets the credit when they win, QB gets the blame when they lose. But Lamar Jackson, I thought was excellent today. Um, he had a couple of missed passes. I felt like that came out of his hand kind of weird, but besides that, he played a really good game and he was let down by the receivers and various other things. Okay, so as far as praise, that might kind of just be it, honestly. All right. Now some guys at the game with injuries. Michael Pierce and Brent Urban both out. Brent Urban had a concussion. Michael Pierce had a calf injury. Okay. So both of those guys that happened early on in the game, especially for Brent Urban. That was like first quarter for him. Okay. Offensively, I am very worried about what this team does when the smallest bit of adversity hits. Still, all right. I saw a Ravens team that once again panicked for no reason. The under center offense is working. You're getting good runs from Derrick Henry, right? Derrick Henry finishes this game with 11 carries for 73 yards. Derrick Henry only gets 11 carries for 73 yards in a game that was never bigger than one possession. The Ravens were never getting blown out. They were never really trailing where you feel like you had to air the ball out. But in these kind of games where they hit the smallest bit of adversity, they hit the we gotta pass all the time panic button for no exact reason why. Right? The Ravens are a better passing offense this year than they were last year, of course, right? They've made strides in that passing game, okay? Some of the players have gotten better, of course, but when I see this team and they are still panicking in situations where panic is not the answer, there's no reason to panic here, right? Why are we getting away from what is working to be in shotgun all day long and put all of this pressure on Lamar Jackson, right? Lamar Jackson can handle it. To me, he's probably the best quarterback in the league. Okay, of course, right? But if you could take pressure off of him, why not do it? There was no reason for this game to be played solely on Lamar Jackson's right arm. The Browns weren't doing anything that we didn't know that they could do, right? They're going to stuff a couple runs. Also, they're going to give up some big plays in the run game as well. All right, they did that to Derrick Henry, right? He had that long 39-yard run. He had a couple other good runs as well, right? But the Ravens switched up their entire game plan after the first quarter for no exact reason. There was nothing that said that this game that how it was going now, what your plan of attack was not working. There was nothing that said that. But instead, we still get a game plan that sometimes got too cute, too many trick plays, reverses handoffs. What is Charlie Kohler doing on the tush push where, listen, if you're going to do the tush push, which I have no problem with, you don't want Lamar Jackson there, you don't want him getting hurt, okay, whatever. Kohler, hike the ball. You don't do hard count. You stepping outside of your lane now, trying to do hard count and draw the defense offside. That's not what you do. You hike the ball, you get pushed forward. That's it. Or you don't hike the ball, they didn't come offside. Okay. But you trying to hard count all that, stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. Okay. The Derrick Henry, listen, another thing. They love to go for on the first drive of the game, right? Derrick Henry, direct snap. The announcer said it, right? One of the few things I agree with the announcing team. When you take Lamar Jackson out of the play, now you take the read option element out of the offense. The defense can go full on crash Derrick Henry, and that's what they did. All right. So I didn't mind the decision. I hated the play call, and that was a lot of the game today. All right. And then also the receivers, receivers have to be better, right? Rashad Bateman, you come off with a career game versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and you drop 2 passes today. All of Rashad Bateman's drops are the same. Okay, it's when he's trying to make a move before he catches the football. Today was the same thing. The one, it was third down. He's trying to catch and turn in one motion so he can get up the field and get the first down. I like the effort. Let's stick to the fundamentals. And the second one, he lost the ball in the sun. It's a terrible excuse, but the way the Brown Stadium is, you can literally see half of it is in the shade, half of it's in the sunlight. I believe he lost it up there because a couple of Browns receivers also lost the ball in the sunlight. So he wasn't the only guy this happened to. So it's a terrible excuse. You hate to see it, but it is what it is. I'm more mad about the drop before that one. All right, because that pushes. So say you catch that ball, Ravens don't get a first down. Okay, at least Tucker now is in position for a shorter field goal because Josh Tucker is no longer automatic from 50 plus. He ends up missing that 50-yard field goal. So now the last drive of the game that the Ravens have, that drive can be to just get a game-winning field goal instead of having to get a touchdown, right? So bunch of big plays. Now, what everybody wants to talk about, which is what I'm sure everyone wants to talk about, is another poor performance from this Ravens defense. Okay, absolutely shocking performance from this Ravens defense. All right, when I did the game preview, I said a couple of things. One, you don't know what this Browns offense is really going to be because all the numbers said that they're terrible, and they were terrible with Deshaun Watson, right? But it's an entirely different thing now with Jameis Winston, with Ken Dorsey not calling the plays, right? It's pretty much a brand new offense in some ways, right? They still did a lot of the same things that they like to do under center, play action, throw the ball down the field. I also said this: Jameis Winston will provide you with opportunities to pick him off. And he did that about 4 or 5 times today. No exaggeration. Jameis Winston enters this game, okay? 27 to 41, 334 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. That should be about 1 touchdown, 4 picks. Eddie Jackson drops one on the first drive of the game. Kyle Hamilton drops one on the last drive of the game. Eddie Jackson drops another one in the third quarter. Eddie Jackson drops a tip in the third quarter. Okay, that brings me to him. This whole idea that I don't know what happened with Marcus Williams. I'm sure that'll get released out later in the week, and we'll do a video about that. But Marcus Williams was benched. Okay, call it what you want. Harbaugh said it's an internal matter that they're not releasing to the public right now. All right, it sounds to me that they had a disagreement. They decided to bench him. Right. This is the issue with that. As bad as Marcus Williams was playing this year, he is 10 times the player that Eddie Jackson is currently. So now, when you're trying to make a point, benching a better player, you're leaving a worse player out there, and that guy cost the Ravens the game today. Eddie Jackson was beyond horrible today. All right, the game-winning touchdown is on his head. All right, like I said, he drops 3 interceptions today. The Ravens cannot catch interceptions. I don't know if there's a stat for dropped interceptions. I don't know who has that stat, but I think the Ravens will lead the category by a wide margin. Okay. One of the best things the Ravens did last year was take the ball away. This year they don't do it because they simply drop the ball. Kyle Hamilton, I'm disappointed in you. I am. Because you were really the only shining light on the Ravens defense today. You were in the backfield constantly. You were hitting hard. You were running around the field. And in the game, this is your chance right here to catch the game ball, to be the player of the game. And you bobble it, hits the ground. I'm disappointed. This game today showed me the exact fears I have for this Ravens team in January. That when a moment gets big, that they tense up. Right? I did another video talking about, don't let this be a trap game, right? Now, people could say, well, it's not a trap game because it's a division rival. Division rivalries can't be trap games. It's not. Sure, fine, whatever. If you don't want to classify it as that, that's fine. If you want to classify it as, you don't want to classify it as a trap game, cool, right? But what we can classify it as is another classic example of the Ravens losing to a team that they are clearly better than. We saw it happen earlier this year versus the Raiders. This game was no different. The Ravens lost this game more than the Browns won this game. And the Browns played a fine game. The Browns played the Browns played their best offensive game of the season by far, obviously. All right. It showed that, Deshaun Watson was playing pretty much as bad as you can be. And honestly, maybe if James Winston was a quarterback, maybe Amari Cooper is still a Cleveland Brown and he's not in Buffalo right now. But this ain't about the Browns because I don't care about the Browns. This is about the Ravens. So for the Ravens. That's beyond embarrassing. All right. Brandon Stevens, I get that. I get that the Ravens were down some corners today. All right. Um, Marlowe, Nate Wiggins, Brandon Stevens. You gotta be the guy that's leading from the front. I didn't see that today. Not at all. I didn't see it. I saw you getting burnt again. All right. Cedric Tillman, Elijah Moore. These guys are getting off. All right. I don't see. Well, yeah, they can't throw it at 21 side. Yes, they can. All right. Zach Orr, grace period is over with. It's over with. It's done. We're 8 weeks in, and the same thing. I've been saying the same thing for 8 weeks. The Ravens are confused on where to line up. There was a play today that was the touchdown to Cedric Tillman down the middle, the first one he caught, where the Ravens are literally shuffling at the line. They're trying to get Adafe Always' attention for like 3 seconds to come and switch sides of the field. He's not looking. He finally does it. He's up, standing up straight. They hike the ball. Now that's the problem on the front end. That's just the problem on the front end. Then you get to the back end. Taylor Armour Davis completely turns him loose, right? And the safeties in the middle of the field don't know what they're doing. All right. Um, Zach Orr. All right. You get down late in the game. You're giving me too much Wink Martindale. We're playing too much double A gap. We're going to send out the house, right? If you're going to do that, it was 3rd and 7 at the end of the game. We are 8 yards off. Why? If the plan is to send more guys than they can block, right? Why are we giving them an easy out route that Elijah Moore catches? Now he could turn up and get the first down. The Ravens made too many mental errors. All right. And at this point, the players need to play better, right? Like I said, 4 or 5 dropped interceptions today. The players need to play better. Point blank, period. Zach Orr, your scheme is not working. All right. We're at that point, right? We can say that now. All right. When it was Mike McDonald, right, they were having coverage bust, whatever, they blew some leads, not whatever, but those things were happening, right? But I didn't see the pure confusion that I'm seeing on your defense right now. These guys look like they don't know where to line up, and it happens every single game. So, like I said this before, I don't know if you need to make the play call simpler, you need to make it easier, you need to make it so that they can understand it or whatever it is. But too many times, it's just not working out. Okay, um, Zach Orr, you probably the best play he had all day was a design blitz where he faked like they faked they show pressure off the right tackle, right? They drop out the last second. Kyle Hamilton comes looping around off the left tackle off the opposite side. Jameis Winston does not see him, strip sack. That was probably the best design right there, right? It caused pure confusion across the offensive line, and it got Kyle Hamilton running free. That was the best design of the night, right? Or the day for Zach Orr, right? Besides that, it's not good again, right? So for Harbaugh, for Zach Orr, all this stuff, you gotta do better, right? I'm interested to see what this issue is with Marcus Williams, because you can't be making a point to Marcus Williams unless it's something he did something so crazy that he just couldn't be there, because you're putting a worse play out there in Eddie Jackson. You're actively hurting the team by not playing Marcus Williams, right? Those 3, 4 interceptions that Eddie Jackson catches, Marcus Williams catches at least one of them. At least one of them, especially the one thrown right to him. Okay? Throwing right to him in the end zone, Eddie Jackson just straight up drops the ball. The Ravens had so many opportunities to erase points off the board and did not take it, right? Jameis Winston played a good game, but James Winston also played a very Jameis Winston-like game. He gave you opportunities, right? James Winston, he's a double agent. He plays for both teams, right? He was good for the Cleveland Browns. He was good for the Ravens as well. If Ravens catch these picks, I'm saying James Winston, hey, great game. You gave us 3 interceptions. He was giving the Ravens the game, and the Ravens just turned it down and said, no, I don't want it. So the Ravens are 5-3. They're going into Denver. Not going into Denver. They're going to play Denver here in Baltimore. But so if this ain't the kind of game that can wake you up, make you realize that, hey, listen, you guys need to do better. That every game is something that you got to show up for, right? Like I said, you don't want to classify this game as a trap game, fine. But it's certainly a game where you were playing that you are the clear better team than who you're going against, and you didn't show up. So classify any kind of game you want. That kind of game happens too many times to the Ravens. You are clearly better than your opposition, and you just don't show up. So that's my thoughts on the game, man. I'm gonna end it there, but we'll get out of here. Hopefully, we get some news about what happened with Marcus Williams. We can really dive into it deeper. But for now, it's Gabriel, another Fan TV. I'm out.